Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equities Story. This is just a general share advice and not personal advice. And I'm trying to talk as long as I can because Wolf's still got his breakfast in his mouth. And no, just don't worry. Listen, don't worry about us. Don't worry the fact that we're working hard Don't worry about we're working hard trying to make people money or save people money. You just eat your breakfast, no problem.
Like you wait 30 seconds. I brought it on you.
Yeah, okay. Of course, we're not going to wait 30 seconds. We want to see you. We want to see you eat your breakfast, Wolf. All right, let's get going on this. And oh, there you go. This was a little talk I did yesterday, and we're talking about CTM, Wolf. We've got a CTM show next Saturday. So if you want to learn, all about the CTM method, join me and Wolf next Saturday. If you want to find out contact support at Equity Story and say CTM
it's the simple question, right? That it gets asked over and over and over. If you ask 10 traders, 9 of them will probably, the first question would be, when do I buy, when do I sell? That's part of the Cincinnati. This is what we answer, is using tools to help you find out when to buy, when to sell. This is, number one question out there is, when do I buy, when do I sell? You look at any forums out there, right? People have got no idea what they're doing. That's all they ask. When do I buy, when do I sell?
Yeah, and I mean, join us, find out what find out what backgammon has to do with this, find out what Steve McQueen has to do with this, find out what this nice looking girl sitting on a rock looking at the.
But more importantly, just join us for a whole day of fun and frivolity.
Sort of. Anyway, a dream without a plan is just a wish, Wolf. Don't forget that.
Yes.
All right, let's get going. Let's get going, my son.
Yes. What a great day on the markets in the US. I think the market's very nervous because we've got a announcement later on tonight in the US about the non-farm payrolls. So that's what Mr. Powell has been waiting for to decide which way he's going to go with those interest rates, Dave. So let's have a look. Let's have a look how we go. What do you think where the Nasdaq is going? What do you think where the Dow is going on the back of this?
Well, you know what? We got a bit shaky, didn't we, with the certainly the Nasdaq about 2 weeks ago, and I'm just saying it doesn't look good. And you can't like that, Wolf. If it goes a little bit lower, we have a bad night on the Dow. Unfortunately, this is going lower into April. We can't do much about it. And if I look at the Dow, and again, really that's very, very bad price action. And if it looks like that by the end of the week, I think again, what I would say is that the markets are going to go lower into that sort of into April, May, into that area.
That's a very ugly candle there. This is breaking through everything, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think obviously the market suddenly is getting more concerned with interest rates. Except Australia, because Mr. Lowe says it's going to be fine, maybe a little bit more. And he knows what he's talking about, doesn't he? That guy's right on the ball every single time. He really knows.
Saying that, Dave, we are a little bit different to America, right? So we've got our economies not as, I suppose, the tech centric or whatever, and our inflation is not as bad as the US. And I'm just sort of looking at the example of Canada, which they've actually paused their rates this time around, which is like, whoa, really? I think that's where we're heading as well, with just to see how we go. So look, potentially, you could be absolutely right again, Dave, that Lowe could be completely wrong, right? And within 5 months, we're going to go hard again on this interest rates. But for the moment, I think how we're heading is we're going to have a little pause to see how these.
Well, I just do not understand, if inflation's at 7% and interest rates are still at 4%, how you can calm inflation down because surely if your interest rates are low inflation, it's still stimulatory for the economy. So I don't get it. And it is stimulatory because we've had record sales in Maya, record sales in that other big shop, what's it called, David Jones, right? I mean, the market's booming. I walk in the street, I'll go downstairs here and I see the queue down the street, all waiting to buy their Chanel handbags, mate. I don't see any.
Well, let's see how the next 2 or 3 months pans out, because like I said, a lot of these information is backward looking. So we need to see a bit of flow through effect. And I know that when Lo was talking about how he's seeing what's happening over the last month or so, he did mention that he liked the numbers, the numbers were worse from a growth point of view, which is good for him. In other words, he liked those numbers, that it feeded into his thought that we can have a little bit of a pause. So we'll see how he goes. Like I said, I'm not going to crucify the guy because it's not an easy job, I tell you what. And things can change rapidly. We've seen it previously many times over. I wish we had a very simple tool answer to just manipulate how we're going to go, but it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, well, we just hope so. But he did give us what he's looking for. Oh, sorry. But he did give us some points that he's looking for going forward, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. So we'll see. Look, like I said, I think we're again very lucky here in Australia. So let's hope that luck continues. All
right. Okay. But okay, Wolf. But what I'm saying is, if America goes down,
it's going to drag us down too. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. No doubt about that.
All right. Now, some announcements say 8 p.m. So 8 p.m. human resources company, very well diversified all around the world.
Yeah.
Chart looks bloody terrible. What?
Look, I want you to. This is the disconnect I've got between the charts and the actual company. So can you bring out the latest, not the latest announcement, but the February the 27th presentation, if you can, on its half-year results, because I just want to give you a story that maybe you put it on your watch list. For the moment, you wouldn't touch it for sure, right? Because technicals are there, and there's a market right now where possibly things will get tough for this sort of business. But I like this business because it's actually, the management is very good, right? So you've got here revenue up 853, underlying NPATA up 11% to 85 million bucks. Good dividends to paid out as well. So I think it's trading on about 6.5 times dividend yield. And you've got a P, according to Reuters, is about 5. That's on an underlying figures, Dave. On a statutory figures, it's about 20. So I'd say by the end of the year, it would probably be still in a high single digits, somewhere there. So for me, this has got a lot of value in it, right? A lot of value. It's cyclical. Maybe we're still looking at, still haven't seen this bottom of the cycle. So it's something that you might be looking at. But I love the fact that they are still profitable. They are still growing. Good management in there. Dividends are still very strong. And it's actually it's a global niche position because it looks after the employment side, where it looks at the disability, for example, the people that really struggle to find work, right? So that's what it works with. And it solves a big problem, because I know that there's a huge potential workforce out there that find it's very difficult to find work in this disability / disadvantage type issues. So for me, I've got a lot of time for this, and I like the actual chair, who's Megan Wynn, who's brought this company from nothing to multi-billion-dollar company, right? So for me, this is a great company, but right now you're probably just going to sit on it in a watch list somewhere. And come back maybe 6 months time, and let's see where it is right there, because there's a lot of value locked in this, and possibly we're going to see this much better maybe in 24 months time.
Well, I think it's important to say, I mean, you look also the chart does, you look at this, you think it's a micro cap. This isn't. This is it's nearly a $2 billion company. It's profitable. It's obviously a good story, and maybe there's your catalyst. You could maybe buy off the dailies if you could. Maybe the daily starts.
Exactly. Yeah. That'll be the first. That will probably be our first catalyst, right? The daily. If it's starting to look better, that means probably the investors are starting to get interested, which probably means that we're over the worst in its space. So that absolutely, I agree with you. But for the moment, just put on your watch list. And I I've got a huge watch list. The stocks I look at. So I want everyone to have a watch list of their own. And some of these stocks, like this one, has to be on there.
All right, let's have a look at VHT Volpara, because it sort of poked its head up, didn't it, a few weeks ago? It's come back down. It's held trend, and now we've got a good. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far, Wolf. I'd like to maybe see a little bit more before I bought this. Maybe it's got to get back over 80 or break that 85. But not bad price action. Does the announcement deserve that?
Well, it deserved a stop the bleeding back under the trend lines. Really, it needed something. It's not revenue generating, but the actual announcement basically talking in the US that they're changing the way they look at some of the when they look at they're trying to find breast cancers, the way they have to look at it through the breast density and so on. So it actually helps VHD quite a lot. It will make the service much more desirable, right, towards whoever is going to deploying this technology. So I'm liking this announcement a lot because it further validates its technology. But then of course we need to see that flow through to the revenues and the bottom line. Saying that, that's a nice step, and possibly if it starts trending about, probably it needs to go back over at 85 cents and it needs to give another maybe a quarter or 2 or 3 of positive cash flows and maybe some sort of maybe profitability before I get interested in this. I like the story, but it just needs to do more. Another one of those watch list stocks.
All right, Wolf, we're looking through some American stocks this morning, and there's one chart which I particularly like, and it's a oil refiner, and it's been a right little cash cow according to the analysts in America over the last few years. You said you do believe this is the one Buffett's taken a big chunk on?
Oh, he's been riding marathon for about 20 years, I reckon. So he's his favorite oil and gas stock. You look at it, unsurprisingly.
Well, if you it's been up and down, but I'll tell you what, this broker had a 165 target price. Likes the story, likes the growth, possibly in the right section for the rest of the year. So I thought I'd just mention this for those out there looking for these American plays and American stocks. I think this MPC is well worth having a look at.
And also a little dividend as well. There's not many American stocks that you can go, oh, it's got a dividend, but this one does.
Just a little one.
2.5%.
Yeah, Wolf, apart from that, that's all we've got to talk about.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right.
Look, we are the market. So we first of all, we've got the ATA to go today, right? So please join us for that. We're going to find some charts for next week.
Well, you've got to join us because we got James, we got Wayne, we got the Equity Story team. We don't pay them anything as well, which is but we got the whole Equity Story team, all brilliant traders coming out, giving us the stocks that we should be looking at. And my God, these traders are good. They're Cincinnati traders, trained.
Dave, pretty much it's just come and join us to steal the ideas of them. That's what we do.
Yeah, that's what we do.
We created it.
So, yeah, well said, Wolf. All right, thanks, Wolfie. Take care. See you, mate.
Nice.
Bye. Bye.